Shoot. Go.
Tunavites. What an ugly week for most of the league. There was some good games, some bounce back performances. The Atlantic Division, well, not much to talk about there. The Southern Division killed it this week, and then some more injuries, of course. And I can't wait to hear Richard's, bad, smelly whole take, because there was a lot of it this week. We'll also talk about the good and where the playoffs picture looks at right now. So, Richard, what's up?
What's up, guys? What's up, Reid? Hey, this week was not a good week. I am 0 for 3 against Cameron. So apparently the curse that Jonathan gave me at the end of last season is a family kind of curse. It's not just him. So all my losses have come from a Cameron. So that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. It's weird. And
wow.
I figured it out. When I figured that out, I was just like, huh. So, but at least I got him out of the way. So that theory means that I'll have one more loss on the year, and that's it. And we'll be good.
Well, Richard, I'm glad you've got it figured out, because I don't have anything figured out with my team and what I'm doing this year. So
well, let's get into the good, the bad, and the smelly. I told you before we started that I had a theme, and the theme is fair.
Oh gosh. Continue.
Well, Reid, let's go to the scores, shall we?
Why not? Let's do that.
Hey, you're not going to get the worst of it. I'm just going to tell you right now. Reid, you're the bad. We're just going to put it out there. You got the bad score of the week. It just didn't go right for you. You got a 0 with Mikol. I know you picked him up with a hopeful glance at him, and it just didn't work out. He missed out on Matt Ryan getting his star receiver back. So it's bad, but it's not smelly. The smelly comes in the shape of your older brother, Aaron. Aaron, I talked you up. Last week. I said, this guy is going to run the table. He is scoring the most points every single week. But he is also getting the most points. Well, guess what? You got the most points again, but you did not show up. You have the lowest score of the season now. Congrats. Another accolade for you, I guess. I don't know. But when I saw this score and I saw 145 to 82, I'm like, not again. Like, it just felt so bad for you. I felt bad for Aaron. Like, man, every time the high score is scored against him. But the good is, of course, Captain Insano rebounding, having his monster game for this week. We're calling it a monster game because 145 was the high score of the week. So we're going to call it the monster score. So that was great. I'm glad to see that the Tennessee Titans had enough time off and they were able to really put a slacking on the Bills and did a great job. So congrats to Nathan on that. So that's the good, the bad, smelly, short and sweet. I like it. Works out nicely for me.
No, Richard, that was good. I kind of had a feeling that I was going to be part of this segment, and not in a good way. Yeah. So I take it all in. Okay, I take it all. And Aaron was bad. Aaron's like, I think you hit it on the head. He's trying to get all the records or accolades for this year. Yeah. Oh goodness. Oh.
Well, we talked about not really needing to go over the week 6 just because it was so low scoring this week. But is there anything you wanted to highlight before we move on?
Yeah. Well, I think, if we just talk about this last week, this week is not a pretty week for a lot of games to really, go through. Even some teams that won, it wasn't really a pretty effort. This was obviously a low scoring week for our league. And I think right now because injuries continue to add up, and now we're in the heart of bye season or the bye stretch, whatever, for teams. So, I mean, I think we're going to see more of this. This is not like, this is kind of normal. We'll get the first, I mean, now we were having crazy high scoring games to start, more than we had normally seen, but normally you get everyone's full players, or at least all teams are playing. Now we get the buys coming in with the injuries. And so that's just, that's making things just hard and complicated, and scores, are going to be tough. I will say this, in terms of, you were talking about Aaron and Nathan, they were part of your segment. I'm going to go out here. I really believe that, Nathan, this was a game Nathan needed desperately. He's been looking for, but I really think that Nathan and Captain Santos is set up to go on a run. If you look at his team, not just, obviously he had a great week, anybody can have a great week, one week or whatever, but think about this. He's got most of his main players have already had their bye. The Titans had that whole situation. They've had their bye. He's got AJ Brown back. So he's got Henry Brown. Kamara's coming off a bye. So he doesn't really have to worry about too many more buys the rest of the way. I mean, his studs are all done. And Galladay's had his bye. So, I think that's, Nathan's in position, especially when you have two stud running backs like he has that aren't hurt. Obviously, that's been the big thing for a lot of people, is they've had, at least one stud running back hurt. He's got two that are healthy and they're playing awesome. So I just would say that he is really set up, barring injury, to really make a run, especially while other teams are having all their bye weeks and dealing with all these injuries. I know that Dwayne won in his, and he's got to catch up to Dwayne and Josh, but I still think there's time for him to make a run in that division. And so I don't know. That's one of my kind of observations from this week.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. I just wanted to pull up the standings.
I think. Yeah. So I think, we're looking at the standings. I mean, look, this week, I don't think there was anything, as I said, scores weren't crazy. Some people it really was just a matter of surviving this week, getting a win. Something that, as you pointed out, I failed pretty bad out this week. And, so I think that was the big thing. Josh, obviously he beat you, and he's keeping pace, with Dwayne there, in that division. I mean, PC, he's 6-0. I think fairly safe to say he's going to be in the playoffs. And unless he has like a total historic collapse for our league, I think he'll be there.
And as you can see, he's 1 point. He's 1 point back from being the league leading scorer. So yeah, he's on a tear.
Yeah, I would say this, Richard, we don't have maybe we'll have one this year. We haven't ever done like a Tuna Buzz, coach of the year. But I would say PC, of course he's 6-0, and it's easy to say, oh, hey, they're the best coach or whatever. But, sometimes, you just, you have the best players and it's not hard. You just insert lineup. But if you look at what PC's done with his team,
you there?
He's been able to insert guys out because they're hurt or whatever, and then he's just like hasn't skipped a beat. So I've just been really impressed by what he's done. I think Tannehill had gotten dropped, and then he picked him up, and now he kind of steps in because Minshew hasn't been playing well, and we already talked about James Robinson. Here's a stat that I saw, Richard, in regards to Ryan Tannehill, that since week 7 of last year, when he took over the starting job for the Titans, that he basically has put up the same identical stats as Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Which I was just like, I was like really shocked. Yeah. Yeah. He's put up basically the same exact statistics as Patrick Mahomes since week 7 he took over. And I just was like, I wasn't expecting that, of course. But so, yeah, I mean, just the whole Titans team, they're tearing it up. And yeah. So, yeah, just PC's done just a great job. I mean, there's certain guys he could have dropped and he held on. And like, I'm looking at his roster right now, but DeAndre Swift, right? He'd kind of been a bust. PC held on to him, and then boom, he had a breakout. So now he can just kind of insert him in this week. And so I think he's just done a great job so far with his team. And I mean, it's a big reason why obviously he's 6-0, and he's had a good run of success. The last 2 years he's been in the championship. He won, and then he lost last year, and now he's right back in position to not compete but win it. So that's. Just that I can't really say anything else other than I'm not going to pick against him until he loses.
Yeah. It helps to have Kelsey. I'll just say that.
Oh, man. Is that not an advantage this year? That is such an advantage. Tight end is so brutal.
Huge. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, he went against. Kittle scored more points this week, but it's just overall, just. Yeah.
Oh, well, but the consistency. I mean, here's the thing with Kittle. Kittle is amazing himself. He tends to get a little bit more nicked up than, like, say, Kelsey just doesn't miss. I mean, Kelsey just plays and plays, and of course has Mahomes. But Jonathan, as we're looking at it, he took another big blow. Mostert's out for a while now. So he'd come back, and so Jonathan's got to kind of figure some things out there again with his running back position. I didn't
realize Mike Davis was hurt.
Oh, I didn't either. We're looking at that. I don't know. Jonathan's still leading the division. I mean, him and PC look and Dwayne look pretty good in their divisions. But I PC to me is the one, obviously 6-0 in his division right now. He's pretty locked in. I mean, I will see. I mean, Aaron had a bad week, but of course he scored so many points. He actually has to start getting wins though. I mean, he's at that point, he's 2-4. At some point you got to start getting wins because it's not going to matter with the points. So, in terms of that, the Atlantic division, Richard, it's been, it's not really been it's been pretty ugly. Dwayne for a little bit there this last week, I thought, not Dwayne, John Mack. I thought John Mack at first I thought he might actually pull off another upset. But then Donald was able to pull away. So it was pretty bad. I lost to Daryl. Here's the thing. I lost to Daryl last year. And I talked to Daryl before a game, and he actually forgot. Like, he's like, I don't remember. But I was like, I just looked at our, how you do the matchup preview, and they'll tell you you're like, did you win or lose last time? And I'm like, I actually lost to you last year. And he got me again. And I'm gonna save, part of my take. Okay, at the end, I'm just gonna save. I'm not gonna say anymore because I'm gonna use kind of me as an example of what not to do.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right, dude. Let's get into the news and notes. And there's really not a whole lot this week. I think the biggest news that came in the NFL was Tua is going to be the starter for Miami now. But outside of that, I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. There wasn't Mostert getting hurt was probably the biggest injury. Maybe the Ravens backfield will see some changes with Ingram got sidelined with an injury, but I don't know. Yeah. What do you think? Is there anything else worth talking about?
Well, Le'Veon Bell signed with the Chiefs.
That's true.
Yeah. That happened after our last episode, and that I guess when that happened, I was like, man, Bruce is like fully invested in all Chiefs because he already had Tyreek Hill and Mahomes. Now he's got Bell. Yeah. I'm like, might as well just be the whole team. So man, I mean that's gonna. it'll be interesting to watch, of course. But that's to Donald for having Hilaire. I mean, I think that's definitely going to cut. I mean, Hilaire's still going to get the bulk, I think, of the work, but that's going to definitely cut into him. And so I don't know. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, Hilaire had his best week of the season. I think it would be interesting. I mean, it's hard to tell because you can't tell if Le'Veon, the way he was playing before and last year with Adam Gase, whether that was an Adam Gase issue or was that a Le'Veon Bell issue. I think if he's got the best shot to do anything, it's with Kansas City because Kansas City kind of lends well to his play style, right? And he catches the ball out of the backfield, all that good stuff. So yeah, I just don't know how it's going to go. I mean, I don't know what the plan is there to have Le'Veon. I think Le'Veon Bell went to the Chiefs because they have a good shot at doing the Super Bowl again. So I mean, made sense for him to want to do that. But I don't know what to make of that backfield. I actually have both of them in a different league, and I don't know what to do. I have both, and I don't know what to do. So.
Yeah, it's that's one that, I mean, it made sense from a, obviously football NFL standpoint for what they were doing. But I think that I mean, one of the knocks on Hilaire was just, his lack of touchdowns. And so I don't know that, this might not help him at all. Cause I mean, I could see Bell, obviously with his career, being maybe more of a guy who will get those touchdowns. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, there wasn't too much. I mean, other than injury front, aside from that move, nothing else. The Jets are still a complete disaster. So, but the Bucks. I mean, that man, the Green Bay. They just. Where's my horn? Man, I can give it for the Bucks. Okay.
That was crazy. That was weird. That was weird. I was watching. They just seemed off the entire game. The Green Bay did, which is weird because they just came off the bye week. It's like, but they just seemed off. Like I don't know what happened with them.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
Well, obviously the Bucks defense is for real. I mean, they've been playing really well, and so that's, of course, as a Bucks fan, that's great. And so that was good to see. That was kind of, for me, that was more the non-fantasy fantasy take there. That was just a nice, hey Richard, if my fantasy teams, or team stinks, at least my sports teams are doing well.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So other than that, on the news notes, thankfully, we went this last week, all games, went on, and the whole COVID thing. I don't know if people or you have noticed, but it seems like the NFL kind of is basically, if somebody is suspected or has COVID, they're basically isolating and then just proceeding on with the games. At least it looked like to me. The earlier games, it was like, oh, somebody's got it, let's postpone, let's do this. And then I don't know if you saw, there were some reports this last week about some different teams, and okay, somebody has it, and then they're like, everyone's like, it's in question. But then it was almost like, at the end of the day, they would just say, okay, yeah, they're going to start practice again tomorrow. Game is still on. So I don't know. I don't know if you caught that. It's almost like the NFL just kind of has figured maybe out a little bit of like, okay, we can still move on as long as we have certain things in place.
Yeah. I haven't really been paying attention, to be honest, but no, that makes sense. Sounds like from what I understand, is that they need 2 days straight of no new cases to proceed as normal. And so it sounds like the procedure is if somebody tests positive, to send them home and isolate them away from everybody else, and hope that nobody else gets the test negative. So, hey, if that's the way it works, then great. we just might have more Tuesday night games or more Monday night games. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so from that aside, that's good news. I mean, obviously you have our games. Knew the season was going to be whatever it was going to be, and so that was good. and then of course we can talk about our free agent bidding. It was not an exciting week. Maybe more exciting for you, but
we're good. We're good.
You know,
So I don't want to talk. I have four fab dollars left, and that'll be the end of it. That's all we need to talk about. I got my guy. All right.
I was wondering, Richard. I was like, Richard has Miles Sanders. I wonder how much of the rest of his fab he's going to actually go out there and spend. And,
all but $4.
No, I mean he was really it. I mean, Boston Scott was really the main one. I mean, I was looking around and it just wasn't. I mean, I besides him, I looked at putting in bids, but there was nothing super exciting. So
I wanted the Eagles defense. If I could change anything, it would be to obviously beat Dwayne at the Eagles defense. But other than that, there wasn't really too much going on.
I would have rather you had the Eagles defense than Dwayne, since I played Dwayne this week. So
you got the back-to-back white.
I know. Well, no, listen. I was just taking a look before our show. I was just looking to look at my schedule. It goes. I go back to back with the whites, and then I go back to back my brothers. So it's I'm really hitting a brutal stretch in the schedule here. So I will say, Richard, I'm just going to say that I. What can I say? Richard, I had the easiest schedule in the league. I'm 3-3. I could easily be 1-5. I mean, it's bad, and I'm like hitting a stretch where it's going to be playing really the cream of the crop team. So I would say in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to find out whether I'm a buyer or seller come trade deadline. So I'm thinking more seller. But
I feel the same way. I feel like my wide receivers are where I need to really make a difference, or need to make a change, because they just are not consistent. And then I'm like, man. So I'm looking, and I'm looking at Josh's team. I just need to do a sidebar real quick on this. Josh's wide receivers are unfairly, like, I'm so pissed off. Like, he's got like 6 wide receivers, and they're all doing better than mine. And I'm just like, come on. And then I tried to look to see where I could trade him, and he's stout everywhere else that I could possibly make a difference, like where I have any type of leverage. It's like, how about a quarterback? No, don't need a quarterback.
Well, Richard, here's something for you guys, you Tunavites, and Richard. This is what I love about our league, and I hate at the same time, is that there were – we do our draft like earlier than most people, like sometimes really early, but like, it's earlier than most people. And I don't mind it. And I've talked about why I like, the way we do it, but people will draft, like our league, we'll have guys that are drafted. It'll be a rookie or it'll be whoever that, has lots of potential. Our season starts. And then like what most leagues do, or most teams, you see teams like, okay, it's been like 3 weeks on this rookie. I'm cutting bait. He's going to the waiver wire. Not most of our league mates will just say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to sit on him. Like Justin Jefferson, for example. I remember Josh drafted him. Well, he did nothing, whatever, the first like 3 weeks of the season, I think it was, or 2 or 3 weeks. Probably nobody even realized he was on Josh's roster. And because I remember like he blew up and I was like, wait, who has Justin Jefferson? And then it was like, oh, Josh has got Justin Jefferson. I'm like, oh, he drafted him. Dude. And so, like, it's just funny because, you talk about the fantasy footballers and all these other people that say, oh, go pick up this guy, go pick up that guy. I'm thinking, man, they're already rostered. Like, they've been sitting on somebody's bench. I'm like, our league is just like, I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, you listen to somebody or you read up on somebody. It's like, oh, he's got to be on the waiver. It's like, nope, been on Reid's team for 2 weeks. Oh, come on. Or been on Josh's team for 3 weeks. Or been on Jonathan's team for since last week. It's like, come on, like, guys. It's not. I'm struggling because of that. My team is just struggling. I wish good things, and I just don't get them. And I'm struggling. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because I'm in France and you guys are picking on me.
Oh gosh.
All right, dude. Well, let's go on to the week 6 predictions. What do you say?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's move on from this last week because I kind of want to forget about it.
All right. First up is John Mack and Bruce. There, we'll do that. Well, Bruce, what happened, Bruce?
He's got an illegal lineup.
Bruce. Well, John Mack's got a lot of bye week and hurt players. It looks like I don't know what's going on there.
Oh well, Bruce is pulling up for me here in the preview.
Oh, is he? I've got illegal lineup. Why is that?
Oh, you're on the because you're on the actual go to scoring preview. Yeah.
My bad.
It's all good. It's really late for you on Wednesday, and you really have the excuse. So
I had it all toggled up, ready to go, and it just. All right. Well, Bruce, work on your lineup, bro. See, mine says zeros still.
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, his came up on mine. So, interesting.
I don't know what the problem is. Oh, he's online. Maybe that's why he's dropping.
Oh, that's funny.
Notification that he's
breaking news. Bruce is active right now.
Well, I mean, what can we say about John Mack's team? It's rough right now. He's in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give John Mack some credit. He's played better than what he was doing. I mean, Rojo's been on a tear for the Bucks a little bit here, and he does need to get his lineup set because he's got Wentz, who's been playing a lot better. They're playing the Giants, and Chris Carson should be back up in the lineup, so won't look as bad. He's got to get his defense in order. So, but it has been rough. You're right, Richard. It's been rough. Bruce, almost looked like he might win, this last week, and then Dwayne had big Monday night game from some of his players that propelled him to victory. But looking at Bruce's team, I mean, even with the Le'Veon Bell news, I mean, McKinnon now still going to stay with at least a decent role, with Mostert being hurt. But his receivers are so good. I mean, he kind of makes up for what he lacks at running back. And now he's got Waller the Baller is back this week, so from his bye week. So I like Bruce this week in their matchup.
Bruce, another one that has great wide receivers.
Yeah, stacked.
His team is doing really well. He's got Jerick McKinnon already. Like, he never dropped him. He's going to be playing them. I mean, he's got Le'Veon Bell now. We'll see what happens with that. Myles Gaskin is on bye, but man, Bruce's team, I'm jealous. Just a little bit. Even though he's doing 4, I'm still a little bit jealous.
Well, we talked about this before, Richard. I mean, him and Aaron, it's deceptive when you look at their record, because they're scoring so many points. They've been in a tough division. I mean, that whole first 3 weeks was just crazy. And now, he had a tough loss to Dwayne. So, I mean, they have great teams at scoring wise. I mean, yeah, they're not getting the wins, but I mean, his team is still a dangerous team.
There we go. He fixed it for us.
Oh, yours is even more updated than mine, Richard. I mean, I'm looking at my screen.
Well, I think we could both agree. I think we're both agreeing that he's going to win this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Mack, I know you're in our division. We want you to win.
We do want you to win. We're rooting for you, John Mack. We need the Atlantic. We need somebody to show up at the Atlantic division.
Yeah, for real.
Well, somehow I got Bruce and Dwayne twice, which makes no sense. Or Bruce twice. That makes no sense. I'll come back to that. PC and Daryl. Let's go there.
Well, Richard, I have no analysis because I said I was not going against PC until he loses. So, I mean, I'm staying with it. So I'm going to let you just take this one.
I mean, this is going up against the Camerons the last 2 weeks, I mean, I don't know. I've had firsthand experience of what that's like, and I didn't like it. They both have really good teams. We've over this show, or just today, we've both gushed on their players and then their teams. We'll see. Ezekiel Elliott needs to bounce back from his fumbles that he had this past week.
That's crazy.
Figure out what's going on with his quarterback. We'll see if the Dallas gets it back together. They have Washington this week, so it's possible that things go back to the way they need them. I mean, the rule is you don't go against PC.
That's my rule, Richard. You do what you want. I got burned already too many times.
I hear you. I mean, Devontae Adams, Jameson Crowder, CeeDee Lamb versus Chase Claypool, Terry McLaurin, Emmanuel Sanders. Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go Josh.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like,
I'm picking Josh. I'm sorry for the delay, but I just.
That's all right. I was about to feel like our dead space time here and be like, please don't cut us off, Tunavites.
No, it's a good week. I mean, this is going to be the game. I think this is going to be the game to watch. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
it's going to be high scoring. It seems like it's going to be high scoring. Oh man, it's going to be interesting to watch. So, all right. Now we got that one out of the way. Let's go to Jonathan and Aaron.
All right. Well, this is projected as the highest scoring game of the week. And I can't say I'm surprised that Aaron's pretty much projected to get a lot of points every week with his team, even though he had a bad week last week, a really bad week. Jonathan came off of just not a good game, tough loss. Although, losing to PC is not a bad thing these days because he's beating everybody. But, interesting. Mike Davis is a little bit banged up. I mean, hopefully he'll be okay for Jonathan because he needs them with Mostert being out. And Gibson really just hasn't, taken off like I think a lot of people thought, at least to this point. I mean, he's getting touches, he's getting, he's putting points on the board, but it's just not taking off like we thought would happen. Although against Dallas, if there's a week, this would be the week for Gibson to take off. I mean, Kenyon Drake was doing nothing, and then of course played Dallas and was awesome. So, this could be a week for him. But Aaron, coming off the blowout, just miserable loss. But for Aaron, I mean, Aaron has everybody this week. He's got Michael Thomas coming back. So this is since basically week one, he's going to have his full weapons, his full team ready to go. And, this Noah Fant might play this week. He's been waiting for him to come back at tight end. So, that's something to watch. Jonathan, he's got Metcalf coming back in. And Murray's got a good matchup. But this is a game this is along with PC and Josh. I'm very intrigued to see how this one plays out. But I'm going with Aaron this week. I think he's got everybody back, and so I think he's going to rebound.
All right, I'm gonna. Oh, I mean, this is another good one.
This is the episode two nights where Richard waffles on
big time. I really want the Atlantic win. Here's the thing: I really want the Atlantic division to show up and do well. At the same time, I'm one game behind Jonathan, so it's kind of like. So I can afford a win for Aaron. I can't. Well, I can't afford to win for Aaron either. So I don't know. I'm thinking purely for my own gain here, and gosh, I'm I'm going to pick Aaron. I mean, this past week was just an anomaly, I think. And I think, gosh, if Aaron loses to another high score, it's going to be hilarious. But I'm going to pick Aaron this week. It's going to be hilarious, though, if it happens.
It'll be hilarious. Yeah, let's see here. Aaron's just Aaron's had quite the season. Let's so far. We're almost the halfway point. But all right, well, we'll see. Let's see if the Atlantic can rebound. Jonathan can, get right back up. I mean, he's been able to do that this year, but I'm excited to see this game.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got Donald versus Daryl. I'm just gonna scroll through the team real quick. We talked about Clyde Edward-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. I think it's going to be a timeshare. I think that's what's going to happen. I think if you make me say it, I think that's what's going to be. So I think that Donald's team is hindered a little bit. He's rolling with Cole Beasley every week, he's winning, so I'm not gonna fault him. Got Keenan Allen potentially coming back. He's not 100%, but maybe he'll come back. We'll see if that works out for Donald. If that does, I'd give the edge to Donald, I think, on this game. But I don't know. This is going to be a close game, but I think closer than what they're saying. But I think it's going to be a lower scoring close game. I think this 114 mark is about right for the around the same kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't see this being a high scoring game either. So
I think if Keenan comes back, I think it'll be a little bit more separation, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I like Donald this week. I think that Daryl doesn't have Jonathan Taylor, which he's not done as good as I thought he would. And I think a lot of people thought just being the main guy, which has been, I don't know, a little bit just interesting, kind of weird. But, I mean, he's getting a lot of volume. But he's out this week. He should have Melvin Gordon back and Edmonds for Daryl. But I just think Donald's team is just solid all the way around. And, he was able to get a win. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Donald's going to get the job done this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, Reid, let's go on. The next one we got is me versus Captain Insano.
Captain Insano, which, by the way, Richard, we haven't gotten a video yet of Captain Insano. We had like a little cliffhanger last week, and we're waiting. So. To see what's out. I mean, I actually, now that he just came out, last week, I've been kind of like, well, where is he? I mean, I figured after a victory like this, he'd be coming out, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. Maybe he'll come out tomorrow with whatever's going on in his life. But looking at this week's game, we got you coming off a tough loss. Nathan. Josh Allen, I know hasn't played as well the last 2 weeks, but if there's ever a recipe for getting back up, it's the Jets. So I think Josh Allen's going to have a big game playing against the Jets because they're just I don't even have words for how bad they are, but so I give you definitely an edge on that. Although Stafford's playing Atlanta, and their secondary isn't good either. Nixon, we'll see. We'll see if he. I think he's probably going to be healthy and fine to play this week, but just something to monitor. Josh Jacobs, he does got a tough matchup. The Bucs have been really good against the run. So we'll see. I was kind of, this last week when they played the Packers, they lost Vita Vea, and I thought, well, maybe they'll take a hit, but they still stop the Packers against the run. So we'll see what they do against Josh Jacobs. Nathan obviously doesn't have Kamara in yet, so he's not even got to his full lineup. And so I'm sure,
but he's definitely going to be.
Yeah,
once Kamara goes in, he'll definitely be the winner projected.
Yeah. Richard, I know you're coming off. I mean, it wasn't just a loss. I mean, you had obviously the injury with Sanders, and it's just some of your guys just, again, kind of what we talked about last week, Jekyll and Hyde a little bit. I definitely think Josh Allen's going to have a big week. And but I'm going to go with what I said earlier. And I think Nathan's set for a run. So I got to go with Nathan this week because I like where his team's at right now after this last week.
Okay. I don't blame you.
So we'll see, though, Richard. I'm wrong most of the time with all my picks this year. So you're probably happy. You're like, yes, Reid picked against me.
Yeah, with Alvin Kamara projecting 22, so you're looking at another 14 points. So yeah, he's projected to be above me for sure. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have concerning is somehow I'm relying on 2 Cincinnati people to score me points, but T. Higgins, man, he's been doing great. If I can just highlight somebody that I was able to pick up for $0 and get lucky on. So far, he's been doing great in changing or taking AJ Green's role. I don't know. You listened. I was listening to Fantasy Footballers, and they were mentioning the fact that AJ Green was he's gotten the most deep passes, but the least amount of catches or something like that, and he's doing really terrible in that role. And this past week, they moved him away from that role, and T. Higgins got that role. So I'd be interested to see if that's the way moving forward with that. So if that's true, then maybe there's something there. We'll see what happens. But I put him in because I've got a bye week, or I've got to hurt Miles Sanders. Otherwise, I honestly would be looking at T. Higgins going in here too. So I don't know. I mean, DJ's been driving me crazy, the fact that he won't score points when I want him to. But
yeah, well, I mean, he's been nicked up. He got just crazy amount of targets, but I know he's been hurt, and the Jags, of course, have kind of been what we thought they were going to be this year. But yeah, Higgins, I agree. That was a great pickup. I remember when Higgins was on the waivers, just sitting there, and I guess, he was kind of one of those things where I looked at him and I thought, okay, they still have AJ Green, they got Boyd. Is this really is he gonna? But yeah, he's been one of the favorites for Burrow, and looks like they're gonna have a connection for the years to come. And so that was a good pickup, a guy that And honestly, he's on your bench, but Richard, you've done well with Ware. Fulgham, or Fulgham, however you say his last name. After the first week, I was like, and then this week against Baltimore, he put up 19 points. So
I am contemplating a little bit about putting him in. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who I'd replace to do that. I'm not sure if it would be Woods or Chark, but it's gonna be one of those two, to be honest.
Richard, I'm here for you. We on our show, I could just give you my own little bit of advice to your team right now. Just tell you what
do it. I don't. It's fine by me.
Oh gosh. Well, I'll tell you. If there's somebody who's really struggled, Chark with the injuries, and it's not for lack of targets, but gosh, it is a juicy matchup for Fulgham with going against the Giants on Thursday night. No Zach Ertz, of course. Maybe Goddard's going to come back. I guess Deshaun Jackson is probably going to play, but from what I was reading last week, was that their plan is to keep Fulgham in that basically X position of receiver for the season. They're pretty much just going to keep him in because of the way he's played. Obviously at some point Jeffrey and Rager are going to come back, so then we'll have to see. But the Eagles keep having guys get hurt so much. I just don't know at this point. You just keep, it doesn't matter. He's a great story. He is a great story. So, but yeah, I know it'd be hard to take DJ Chark out because What's that?
I already did it.
Oh, I already did.
They're going to the Chargers. They've been playing terrible. They don't have a bye week to get right. And they're traveling across the country.
Yeah.
Chargers,
I know. You got guys that are kind of just.
Issue, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Richard's like, I might change again.
I honestly, I might change Woods back to Chark. It might be Woods on the bench because I need high ceiling guys for this week. Is really what it is. Woods is great for that baseline, but for a high ceiling, he just hasn't been getting a lot of targets. I mean, the Rams have become a running team, it seems. So I'm starting to more think about Woods going on the bench against Chicago. That's a possibility. We'll see. I have a week to go. I'll do some research or listen to some podcasts or something. Maybe they'll tell me what to do.
Well, Richard, you can you're going to hear my take. My take at the end of our episode here, and I don't know that's really going to help you in your situation, but
let's get there soon. I have it on the screen. Let's get to you and Dwayne, and then we'll get to your take.
All right. Oh gosh, we're a mess.
Well, you got another whiteout this week with Dwayne coming to the, or no, you're going to him, I guess technically. But anyway, gosh, this is going to be. I don't know what to do about your team. It seems like you can win every week, but then you don't.
I appreciate the encouragement, Richard.
I really like your running backs this week. I think your running backs are going to do really well. Even though Darrell Henderson, it says only 9, they turned into a running team, like I said. Henderson seems to be the main guy. I don't know why I keep holding on to Cam Akers because they're not doing anything with him. But yet here I am. I still have him. Kenny Drake went off last week, but it was on a 69-yard last-second touchdown run that if he didn't have it, it wouldn't have been nearly as good. Going against Seattle, which I guess is okay. David Montgomery, he's the guy in Chicago against the Rams. I honestly don't know enough about the Rams defense, whether or not that's a good or bad matchup. But it's on Monday night, so we won't know until then. Will Fuller has been showing up, which is great for you. I mean, he's been doing a great job lately. Not getting hurt has been very helpful for him. Wide receivers are even. I mean, DJ Moore, here's the thing. DJ Moore, we've talked about this before. He's the second look. He's not the first. You need, like, Robbie Anderson has taken over that first look role. And it's unfortunate because you drafted him so early, but that's the way it is with DJ Moore. I saw that you picked up a tight end this week. Are you going to trade him in on Dalton Schultz, or are you going to hold on to him?
Well, no. Burton's got a bye this week. So.
Oh, does he have a bye this week? Okay.
Yeah. I just picked him up in case Schultz just gives me another bad game, and then I can just throw somebody else in there.
Mike Williams, I mean, he's got Herbert has been doing awesome. So not a bad pickup, not a bad play this week. I'm gonna give it to you reluctantly, but I am gonna get it to you. I didn't talk too much about Dwayne's team. He is playing with Tyler Lockett. He did pick up the Eagles, which I think you're going to do really well against the Giants. You picked up the Chiefs. I dropped. Have fun. Keep in mind they got -5 points 1 week. I'm very aware of that. I saw you drop the Colts, and I'm not gonna lie. I thought about picking them up just so I didn't get negative points.
Just take the 0.
Dude, I got 1 point for my defense this past week. Like,
there's a strategy. I'm just going to take a 0. Listen, I know as crazy as that sounds, I've heard of people doing that before. Not like our league or anybody, but like I've heard people talk that like sometimes if it's so bad, you just pick up a defense that's on a bye, so you just don't get like a negative, and you just say I take a 0. And I don't recommend doing that, but serious
consideration. So if anybody wants to screw up that plan, just bid $5 on them, and you'll get them. That's me.
Oh gosh,
it's a contemplation. It's not necessarily can it come through fruition or not? We'll see. But anyway, I'm going to give the edge to you. That's what CBS is doing. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think Matt Ryan needs Julio Jones, and if Julio Jones can be there for him, I think it's going to be Matt Ryan's going to go off again this week. So we're going to go with that.
Wow, Richard, I'm really surprised. I mean, here's the thing. They project me to like win, or I have like some good games. But I mean, right now, I'm scoring like my average score a game is like lower than it's been, and I can't remember. I mean, it's like towards the bottom of the league. So it's been brutal. It's been like a jigsaw puzzle. But Richard, you know what? I'm not giving up. I never give up. I'm still fighting. And, of course, Dwayne,
I just think you're going to find your nut. If you were a squirrel, you're going to find your nut this week. So.
That's what Richard, that's what it feels like this year. It feels like I'm just like a blind squirrel who's trying to find a nut. And, we'll see what happens. The Chiefs, to be honest, you mentioned the Chiefs. I picked them up because obviously the Colts are on a bye week, but I actually picked them up more or less for next week because they play the Jets next week. And so I just was like, you know what, I'll play them this week. Hopefully they don't get me negative points, and I'll just have them when they play the Jets next week. So, but yeah, I mean, Dwayne, his team, here's the thing about this game. I will say this is going to be one of those games where you're not even, unless I just completely, just have a terrible week, right off the bat, we're not going to know about this game until definitely after Monday night. He's got 3 guys on Monday Night Football. He's got 3 Bears, and he's got Mike Evans on Sunday Night Football. Most of his guys are later games. I think he only has like one player at a 1 o'clock game. I have most of my guys early. So,
Cole Nathan and score 145 points in the first hour or the first wave of the game.
Yeah, I know. He did all his damage. It was like done. He just could sit back and be like, all right, well, so that's gonna be one of those for Dwayne. I'll be waiting. Well, depending on how my team does, I'll be waiting to see what the results of Monday night are. So, with that game, so. Oh, yeah. We'll see. We'll see, Richard.
I think we know what time it is.
Man, oh man. All right, is it time for my take? All right, read the Tuna take. All right, Tunavites. Wow. So here's what I'm going to say. We're at a time of the season where we have bye weeks, we got injuries. We've got the guys who have been a bust, or we're sticking with certain players. We're trying to figure out maybe some guys that can take off. And this is something that I think we all are guilty of at one point or another. But it's something I call getting too cute with your lineup. And prime example is on myself. Okay. Terrible decision. Actually cost me the game. And CBS actually threw me under the bus and basically pointed it out for everybody to read. Thanks, CBS. DJ Moore, he's not been what I hoped he would be. He was a first-round pick. He's not been terrible, but he's not been obviously what I wanted. I decided this week that, McCole Hardman, Sammy Watkins was hurt. I was buying into the hype that, he's going to take off. He's ready to explode. And I decided, I'm going to play him and I'm going to bench DJ Moore. DJ Moore didn't have like this monster game or anything, but you see the big difference was DJ Moore had 14 points and McCole Hardman had zero points. And ultimately it did cost me a game, a victory against Daryl. So that's what I call getting cute. Obviously we have to take chances. Richard was talking about earlier, you want sometimes those boom or bust guys because you just need like a big time ceiling play. But there are times where, even if it's a guy that's maybe not going to be exciting, maybe he has a tough matchup, but he's still solid or is going to, he's not going to hurt you like I hurt myself this last week. Stick with that player. You look at your roster, obviously sometimes you have to take chances. Sometimes you just decide to take a chance with one of your players on your lineup. But we can get too cute sometimes. And
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the painful processes of fantasy football is sometimes you just got to stay where it is, even if it's not an exciting player. It's not always the best decision to go with the boom or bust play, or to go away from a guy who, while he may not be exciting, he's still a solid player, that you can depend on for whatever a certain amount of points. It can cost you victories, games. I mean, it happens to everybody. It happened to me this last week. So, sometimes you just got to look at it and say, hey, don't just stick with, what's tried and true to solid. Don't always try to get too cute with your lineup, because you can get burned as I did.
I like it.
Man, oh man! So I told you, Richard, it was going to come back. It was going to come back to be on me, and I mean that's the truth, man. It really is. It's great. It's funny how that works out sometimes. You look at one move and you're like, I can afford to do this, and then it ends up being like the one move that costs you a game.
Yeah. Keep in mind, no, you're right. You're right. Even the highest scoring teams can score the lowest score of the week of the season. So it was this week as well. So having those solid players is a legit strategy too, for the chance that you're not costing yourself points.
Right. Yep. So Richard, I'm telling you right now, my lineup is locked and loaded, and unless somebody pops up on the injury report, it's staying that way. I'm not touching anymore.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I do. I might switch out Woods. I mean, he's talk about a solid player. I mean, Woods has been somewhat consistent the past few weeks, but I have a feeling I'm going to need some high scores, and I need to make some risk plays. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, Woods, it's tough this week because Woods, they're playing the Bears. The Bears have been pretty good against wide receivers, which is one of the reasons why I bench DJ Moore. And, and Woods seems to be like he either has a big game or he'll kind of, it kind of seems to fluctuate. But, yeah, he's been solid, though, this year. So, but we'll see what happens. And, but hey, actually, Richard, Tunavites, after this week, we're halfway through the fantasy season. So it feels like actually it's been a lot longer because we've had so many injuries.
I know. Hopefully we'll have smiles on our faces when we start it next week instead of sad faces.
Yeah. Anybody watches this episode, if hopefully you're not depressed after watching this episode. Doom and gloom.
I talked about how I was 0-3 against Cameron's. So far, I'm 2-0 against theirs. So.
Wow.
We'll see.
Richard, I wish I could come back with some cool stat that I have for my team, but I don't have anything. So, it's like, that's the way it is.
And I'm 1-0 against McTaggart. That's my whole season.
Okay, I can go there. I'm 1-0. I had my best game against McTaggart, which unfortunately didn't much this year. Sorry, John Mack. Oh gosh, Richard, here's what's funny. Here's where you gotta laugh sometimes. Fantasy football. So Sunday night, and I just have to share this too. This is how it goes sometimes in your season. So my team, it's well noted. My team has not been very good, even though the record shows otherwise. It shows I'm 500. It should be much worse. But I've struggled. My players struggled to get touchdowns aside from your quarterback. So I'm Darrell Henderson, right? At that Sunday night game, I was actually watching that game. And he starts going off on the drive and he goes down and gets a 2-yard touchdown. I'm like, oh, I'm excited. This is great. They get a holding at the goal line. You don't ever see actual holding. And it's like, they called it back. And I was like, what? So then later in that game, same thing. He's getting yards. He's going down. They get all the way down to the goal line. And I'm like, okay, he's going to get a touchdown. What do? Pass. And then it was that was it. And the interception or whatever it was. And I just was that's just how the season has been. You got to laugh, though. I just got to laugh. So, anyways. Well, Tunavites, that's a wrap for this week, and we're excited to see where this week's action goes. And don't always be looking. We will be bringing back another special guest. I don't know if it'll be next week, but we will. And of course, we're all waiting to see what Captain Insano is going to do or say. All the above. So best of luck, Tunavites. Best of luck.
See ya.
See you guys.
It's thinking.
We're still here. This is like the outtakes right now. It's the hot mic, Richard. We better not say anything controversial.
It's thinking. It's not doing anything.
Just going to keep going, Tunavites. It's going to be a live stream on YouTube.